Hello, I'm Al. Welcome to the Guitar Shack. So, long-term followers of the channel will know that I am a bit of a sucker for Candy Apple Red, as you can see. So, it was probably inevitable that when this one popped up on Facebook Marketplace locally, I snapped it up. It was in a bit of a state. It was in a box of bits, basically. It had some parts missing and it had some damage done to the body. But it is a genuine Japanese uh, Telecaster. It's quite rare, and this video is going to talk you through the process of how I acquired it, what I did to it, how I found out what it was, and then putting it back together into the state that it's in today. Hope you
So
enjoy.
this is a 1985 Japanese 52 reissue, which has been reasonably well looked after. It's in lovely shape. It's a very unusual colour. It's got a gorgeous neck. It's been butchered by a previous owner for some reason. I think he tried to route out a humbucker cavity with a blunt spoon. Um, but we can fix all that. And I'll be putting this through the workshop as well. But this is a really nice guitar as well. Now, this unfortunately is the butchery, which is going to have killed the value of it as a vintage instrument. Doesn't really matter to me. I'll be putting a proper uh, single coil back in there and covering it with a pickguard. And what I will do is I'll neaten it up so that it's not as offensive, and then I will paint it, the shielding paint, so that at least, although it's there, it's in a more respectable condition. But yeah, why would you have a guitar like this? And if you wanted a humbucker, A, not sell and buy another one, but B, why would you not take it to a luthier and get it righted out properly? People do strange things. So here's the neck off. So I've got matching stamping in the neck, which is TL52EX, and I've got the same TL52EX in the neck pocket. I'm assuming that the EX is export, not. They also did a high-end version called the X Trad, but I'm kind of thinking this is X for export, which would go with it being an unusual colour, because I believe they did do different colours for export. So that's my current thinking. So let's open her up and see what we've got then. So we've got standard three-saddle bridge stamped with the serial number, and inside we have got a Seymour Duncan, only says 1A, so it'll be a vintage, might be a 54, might be just their standard kind of vintage Tele bridge pickup, which is I think an STR1. So don't know, let's figure that out. But vintage style pushback wiring, no separate ground, never been a separate ground, the looks of it. So that's done because of the metal bridge plate, so that's fine. No shielding in the pickup cavity, and then in the control cavity we've got standard YM30. That's standard Japanese switch. They're pretty decent, pretty reliable, so that's fine. That can stay. The pots are loose, but full sized with a stand with a sort of small capacitor and a treble bleed. So that's all fine. It looks, it's had pickups added, obviously, and removed, obviously, but the rest of it looks pretty undisturbed. So assuming that it's all functioning fine, that's okay. No shielding in the cavity, which is fine. And then the joy that is the neck cavity. So that's what I have got. Onwards, next thing I'm going to do, I think, is find a matching neck pickup for it. I have got a new pickguard for it, which can go there. And I've got this, which, believe it or not, might actually be a matching. It's the same old Duncan with cloth wire, SDR1 neck. So might be the matching one for that. Might be a slightly different output. I don't know, but it'll certainly go in there okay, and that will give me a vintage looking Telecaster again. So, but before I do that, I am going to tidy this up, and I'm going to paint it with shielding paint. In fact, I'll shield it throughout just so that it's neat and tidy. Give the body a deep clean polish, give the electronics a good clean out, and then start reassembling it all. I'm just going to be a little bit mean about the quality of the workmanship for whoever's fitted this bridge pickup. There's approximately 2 strands of wire attaching it to the switch. So yeah, we need to clean up the switch, we need to properly tin them and fit them properly. So all of that's coming off. And I will tidy up the top of the pot as well. That's equally unattractive. But I can do a better job than that. That's the main thing. So that's the painting done. Hopefully that will dry nice and smooth, and then I'll give it another coat after another day. So I've been making some progress on the Tele, and I have shielded and painted the cavities. I have sorted out the mess that was the routing, and I've done a few touch-in paint repairs with some glue boost. So I'm now just giving it a degrease with naphtha, otherwise known as Swan lighter fluid. And then I'm going to, having done that, I will be giving it a polish. So next up, I'm going to give the body a good rub over with some polish. Just takes off the top layer of any crap that's been accumulated on there over the years, and it gives a nice clean base, and then finish that up with some wax. Right, and then next up, we're in with the wax. Is there a colour that comes out better from polishing than candy apple red? I don't think so. So next up, the bridge. Now, I've been reliably informed by the hive mind of TVPRI forum that these serial stamped bridges are basically useless from a dating the guitar point of view, because they were produced in batch, and then they were just in bulk, and then just used in batches as and when necessary by Fender Japan. So although they come up on the dating websites as not that kind of dating websites, but on the guitar dating websites as 1985, it could be anywhere from 1982 to about 1990, apparently. So Doesn't tell us anything, but it does look nice. Right. So this is probably literally as exciting as watching paint dry, so I will skip forward and spare you the entire bridge. So just a dry run of fitting the new pickguard. Mainly just got this one over here isn't going to fit, so I'm going to have to fill and drill that. And then I'm just going to have to trim it round here because it's sitting just proud of the neck socket, which is going to stop it, well, interfere with the neck when it goes back in. So we'll tidy that up, and then we'll crack on with placing the neck pickup, which fits directly onto the body in one of these because it doesn't have holes like the later ones for mounting. So 1 out of 5 in the wrong place isn't too bad for a replacement pickguard. So we'll crack on with that. So just laying out the neck pickup. Another part of the genius of my predecessor owner's attempt to fit a humbucker is that he appears to have pretty much gouged out the wood where the neck pickup screws went. So I am trying to locate it. This seems to be, by trial and error, the right place for it. So I'm going to see if I can get the screws in. If not, then I might have to surface mount it on the pick guard, which is obviously not correct for a 50s style Tele, but might be the expedient part. But we'll see how we get on with this. So here's the finished body, wired up, zipped up, tested, and ready for the neck. So that's the next thing I'm going to do, is get onto the neck and give it a full level crown and polish, and then we'll put her back together. So onto the neck. So we've got a bit of fret wear on really the first three of, yeah, mostly the first 2 or 3 frets. Beyond that, it's all in pretty good shape, so it's not going to take much, just a light dressing and then level crown polish. I've got a little bit of wear, genuine play wear, which is fine on the first and second frets in the finish, which you can see. And then the nut itself is in decent shape. It looks like it is the original nut. It's under the factory finish and has been scored away. That'll need just fettling if I take the level down, obviously with the frets with a dress, then I'll need to just adjust the nut. But assuming there's nothing wrong with the nut itself, then that can stay. So yeah, this should be relatively straightforward. So here we are back together, strung up, pretty much in tune. So just need to give it a setup. So the what can I tell you? So the nut is actually pretty good. It's barely touching on the touch test, which might mean it's a bit low. I'll see how I got on with that A string, D string. It might be a little bit low, in which case I'm going to just build it and fill it, because it's the only one that's out. The rest of the nut is in decent enough shape. So let's check where we are with relief. So what I did with this was I put the neck dead straight so I could do the fret job, and then I work from that dead straight position in terms of doing the relief, because obviously once you put the strings back on, then it's going to pull it into a little bit of relief from a dead straight position. I'm aiming for 6 thou, 6, 7 thou usually is what I like. So I'm going to start. So that's a bit low, but I'll see how I got on with playing it. So it's not taking a 5 thou. Let's try it on a 4 thou. Yeah. So it's about a 4 thou. So it's a bit straighter than I would normally have. I'll see how I got on with the rest of it. I might give it a little bit more relief. I'll just see how it plays. So that's that. But it's perfectly doable. I mean, intonation, well, not intonation. Relief is really about personal preference. Some people like it dead straight, as straight as you can get it, because it does help for the action down at this end. I tend to go middle ground. Fender specs are actually 10 thou, which is probably as much as you would want. It's a nice playable action at that point. That tends to go with their 4/64ths height, at the 12th fret recommendation for Teles, which is fine. It's a nice action. I try and get it a little bit lower than that, and just see where I get to. So at the moment I am on 2 mil at both ends, which is actually not bad. So 2 mil is, I think, 5/64. I try and get it, for my own preference, if I can get it down to 1.5 and 1.25, because obviously being European, I am metric. So I'm going to set these up, and obviously I'm going to use a radius gauge because it's a 7.25 neck. So I will be back. Yep, so that plays cleanly, and so just need to do the intonation. So I need to raise the neck pickup height a little bit. So that's the last thing. So yeah, there you go. Done. So there we have it all set up and ready to go. Really pleased with this. Obviously, I bought it as a pile of bits. Needed a bit of repair work to the body, but it was pretty much all there. Quite fortunate that I had a matching Seymour Duncan neck pickup to go with the broadcaster and the bridge, but I've balanced them up. They sound really good. And yeah, so it's in really good condition. I did a couple of little paint repairs to the body, just where it had chipped off in the neck pocket, and there was the finish crack had started, so I've repaired that, so it's in good shape other than that. Couple of little scratches on the back, but nothing significant, and this gorgeous neck. So, really nice. The fret jobs brought it up nicely. No issues with that. Plenty of meat in them, so these will do nicely. The nut was okay. I'll see how we got on with that D string. I might build that up a little bit, but the rest of it is good, and it's the original nut under the finish, so I'm not going to mess with that. I need to load the tuners, and I might, for practicality reasons, I might change out these saddles for compensated ones. I'm sure I've got some floating about in my spares box. But yeah, overall, it's a really gorgeous guitar. And of course, the other question is, what is it? So a huge thanks to the various forum contributors on the TDPRI forum. I did post a thread asking for people who know more about MIJs than me, can you tell me what this is? And actually, is it a genuine one? I was really interested in it because of the candy apple red body, but I was also slightly skeptical because of the candy apple red body. And after quite a lot of discussion about what was it, and there was some discussion about whether it was actually a Jerry Donahoe or Jenny Donahue tribute. It's not. They were double bound, and they also had Stratocaster pickups, which could have been in here. That's possible, given we had no idea what was in the neck in this one in the first place. But no, they came up trumps with a link to a blog called Planet Botch by a journalist called Bob Leggett back in 2011, which identified exactly what this is. And exactly what it is a 1990 52 reissue MIJ. They did come in the Candy Apple Red was one of the options at that point in time. And they didn't last a lot. This is a UK market special, or which goes with the EX export branding in the neck pocket. But they didn't last long on the UK market, I think, because they were priced too close to the 62 TL62s, which were the double bound customs with the rosewood board, which are also absolutely gorgeous guitars. I've actually got an ocean turquoise, one of those, so I might do a back-to-back comparison of those at some point for the two of them. So they didn't last particularly long. It is rare, but it is genuine. So this is a keeper. So this is definitely peak Telecaster for me. I've always loved Candy Apple Red. I've always loved 50 style Teles, and I really like this neck. So yeah, pleased with this. Thanks for watching. Hope you found that interesting. As always, if you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Have a look at my other videos. I ramble on a lot about Telecasters, as you've probably noticed. And I usually have a selection of them for sale on my Reverb shop, which won't be seeing this anytime soon. Thanks again. Cheers.